What is the importance of sleep? Why do we need to sleep? Well, it's when we sleep is when, imagine when you're going into London, the London Underground, all of the works pretty much gets done to improve the system while at night time when there's no one using it. It's exactly the same thing for your body. When your body is in sleep, you're in rest mode, so it has a chance to go through and basically give you a complete cleanse. So it clears out all of the hormones and flushes through into your brain as well, reduces stress levels, which we'll talk more about later. And it also helps, and it's the opportunity it has to build and work and repair and improve your muscles, especially if you've been working at the gym hard. So all of the work, all of the behind the scenes stuff is happening when you're sleeping. That's why we need to sleep. We need to sleep so we can be constantly improved and repaired. Remembering that when you're doing the workouts, when you're doing all of the activity, that's actually the destruction. That's what pushes your body, causes the muscles to tear, and it can only be built up when it stops being attacked. And when you're sleep deprived, your body doesn't know why it's not getting the sleep that it needs. It doesn't know why you're being kept awake. So it instantly jumps to a conclusion that it must be because there's danger. There's something going on around you that's making you not be able to sleep. This keeps your stress levels at a higher level, starts to burn muscle, starts to get rid of muscle, because muscle is more calorie expensive. And it thinks, right, okay, if we're in danger, that means we need to start going to a bit of a storage mode. We need to protect ourselves. We don't know what's going on, so we need to make sure the fuel is ready for us to use when we need it. So for that, it starts to get rid of the muscle. And now the muscle is obviously what is burning through the fat and using it as energy. But now it starts getting rid of that muscle and replacing it and storing more fat. And that's what starts to happen to your body, especially over time. So by just having more sleep, you start to shift more fat out of the way, and muscle is more encouraged to build. Now, the other thing is just one night of sleep deprivation will affect your cravings for the next day. So it even affects you on a nutritional level. So sometimes when you're craving the sweet stuff, when you're craving the salty or the savory stuff, that can be more from the fact that you're sleep deprived and your body's looking for a way to store fat because it thinks there is a danger. It thinks that there is a reason that you must be awake at this particular time and you're keeping yourself active. How to improve your sleep quality now. That's one of the main things we're going to be talking about. Number one is doing a bit of a workout in the morning. This does not need to be a full hour, 30-minute thing. It just needs to be as quick and easy as a 5-minute workout. Something as small as that can make a huge difference to how you sleep up to 12 hours later. So that's something to be aware of. When you wake up in the morning, do 5 minutes of exercise and just get that heart rate moving. That could be as simple as doing 100 jumping jacks. It could be going for a quick couple of sprints down the road, whatever you need to do, push-ups, just get the body moving, get the blood pumping, get it active, get it pulsing. By doing it later in the evening, it can keep you awake because obviously your stress levels are a little bit higher and your heart's going, you've got all this adrenaline going, and that can just halt your sleep ability. The next thing that I want to speak to you about is having a dark room. The human body runs on light, and there's a chemical that gets released in darkness, and it's called melatonin. It's in the pineal gland, and for those who don't know where that is, the pineal gland is around the forehead, where most yogis would refer to as the third eye. As things start to get darker, that chemical starts to seep out, and that's what starts to make you feel tired, and then eventually goes to sleep. Now, the more light you're exposed to, the longer you prevent, or the more you prevent that from happening. It's not necessarily all about eyes. Sometimes our skin actually absorbs light as well, and it will affect how your pineal gland gets the melatonin to go through the body. So when you go into your room and make sure it's like as dark as possible. even when they've done studies, they've taken a completely dark room, they've measured this person's sleep pattern, found that it was great, nice and deep sleep, and then they put in something as small as a pen, the top of a pen with a little bit of a light in, it's just somewhere in the room, and that actually was enough light to disturb the guy's sleep, causing him to go into a lighter sleep and also sometimes waking up. How this relates to you: have you got an alarm clock directly facing at you as you sleep? Do you sleep with the TV on? Is there lights or little red lights sometimes around the room that you've got there? All of these things can make a subtle difference. The main thing that will prevent you from sleeping through the night is your body temperature, your core body temperature. When we wake up, not only are we at our most stressed, we're also at our hottest. As we go through the day, our body should naturally start to cool down. And when we sleep, we should be at our coolest. And then what will happen is, as we're sleeping, our body temperature naturally starts to rise. So then it wakes us up. It's the heat that will wake us up. So when you're sleeping, if you're quite hot-blooded anyway, that could be something that's keeping you in that lighter realms of sleep, which is keeping you from just tipping over into the awake stage. So imagine, for example, if you are hot-blooded and you've got the light in your room, it's just keeping you at that high level. Removing one of these things or the other, it's not necessarily going to make a huge 30 or 40% improvement, but even if we can improve it by 1, 2, 5%, that's going to make a big difference overall in keeping you into a deeper sleep. Well, when you're talking about life getting in the way and preventing you from sleeping the amount that you need to, maybe for you, what we could be looking at is how can we help you get more deep sleep? How can we make sure that the sleep that you are getting is the deepest sleep possible, therefore keeping you repairing and moving forward? I would be looking at making sure that you are asleep probably by 9 p.m, 9:30 p.m. the latest, and getting you through that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. side, just so your body can go through all the repair stuff. I don't know if that is something that is possible for you, but it's one of the areas that I'd be looking at if your diary or your lifestyle is really that hectic. One of the other things is to remove, obviously, we're still keeping on the light situation, limiting your exposure to screens, TV, mobile phones, Netflix, iPads, anything with what's known as a blue light. It will affect your sleep. It prevents you from feeling tired until you physically cannot drop off anymore. If you are able to lay there and you're off to sleep instantly, it is a huge sign that you are already sleep deprived, that your body is gasping to make up for lost time. If you're taking the 30 minutes, your exposure, like you could either have gone so far past sleep deprivation that your body doesn't know any different. It's always in that constant state of awareness, and it's always kind of tense, kind of stressed out. And like I said earlier, that stress doesn't need to mean that there's big problems in your life at the moment. It can be as simple as lots of little stresses, little annoyances that's getting on under your skin. Besides the fact that the more sleep you have and the better and deeper sleep you are, your sex drive actually goes up. But the Italians, that wasn't good enough for the Italians. They wanted to understand it a little bit better. How can we improve, they're big and hot-blooded, obviously. How can we improve our sex life a little bit more? And they found that by removing the TV from their bedrooms, by making it an electronic-free zone, not only did their sleep improve, but so did their sex life. People were having 50% more sex with their partners, or I don't know if they were single. I don't know that part of the study. I'm not too sure about. But these people were reporting that they were having double the amount of sex than those people with a TV in their room, mainly because obviously they were able to get to sleep a lot better without being disturbed. And obviously there's less distractions, probably, as one of the other things as well. The easiest way to do all of this is to put yourself on something as simple as a 30-minute screen ban before you go to bed. Now, 30 minutes, believe it or not, is actually, in this day and age, it's quite a long time to go without any form of screens, any form of that kind of light. So there are two ways around this. Number one, you can get blue light blocking glasses. And when I went polyphasic sleeping, I had those particular glasses. They look super cool, but they block out any kind of light. And what's really interesting, just by wearing them for 5-10 minutes, you can instantly start to feel yourself like feeling tired and sleepy, which is really, it's quite a weird experience actually, going from all this light, putting those on, then within 10 minutes, it was like, I just needed to go to bed. So if you really can't do without it, or you want to start moving for it slower, then I would recommend those blue light sunglasses. They're really cheap. You can pick them up on Amazon for about £10–12 maybe. But I'm sure you can Google or look around if that's still too much. Now, because every time you visit Facebook, every time you visit Instagram, what you get is a release of dopamine, which is like the addictive happy drug. It's what makes us build positive habits. So it's like, oh, every time I do this, I get pleasure. So that could be as simple as like getting a like. When you see a like, oh yeah, it feels good. So that's what keeps you going back. So during that 30-minute time period, you can find yourself getting a bit of pre-internet jitters, as it were. So what would be better is to replace it with something of equal value in terms of what you would get enjoyment out of. Now, for some of you, that might mean you get enjoyment out of speaking to your partner and you make it about you time. For others, it could just be reading something you enjoy that doesn't involve a screen. So that 30 minutes is just for you. If you are a light sleeper, if you get disturbed a lot in your sleep, one of the things that you should be experimenting with is what time your last eating is. 2 to 4 hours, I would go as extreme as saying, before you go to sleep. It can just keep you awake, all that fuel being released into you, and it's just enough to keep you disturbed. But also, because your body's still digesting, it's producing heat, which is keeping you in a lighter state as well. So all of those things on top of each other, it could be enough to keep you from waking up. But to keep you waking up, your body temperature is a huge thing. It's probably the number one thing you could do if you focus on just purely reducing your body temperature over night time, your quality of sleep should improve quite dramatically. Now, what does that mean? Opening the windows is one aspect of it. You can go as full crazy as getting a bodysuit that's designed to cool you down. You can have air cons, you can have fans if the noise doesn't bother you. But there's a little bit of a trick here. Now, the body's thermostat is located in the back of your neck, around the base of your skull. If you can have a form of cold pack and have that on the back of your neck, it will dial your temperature down. It will bring your core body temperature down, and then that might be enough to help push you through and help you sleep a little bit better, if not getting you off to sleep faster. Another big one is caffeine. Caffeine can make a big impact. Up to you'll be looking at having, I think it's about between 8 and 10 hours before you sleep. So go for a simple rule: no caffeine after 12 p.m. That will also help you start to shut down and wind down as well. Here's another one actually. It's a free app you can download for your computers. If you have a computer, I've been using it for the past 5 months. It's an app you can download for your computer called Flux. And what you do, you just install it onto your computer, and it works with the sunrise and the sunset, and it takes out all of the blue light and all of those kind of lights that will keep you awake and also harm your eyes as well. If you are still struggling, you can do focus on 2 of your other senses that will help you. So you've got your smell and your ears. I'll go for the smell one first. If you have scents around your room, so really make your bedroom just a zone of like peace kind of thing. You want to make it all about sleep. So if you have the scents of lavender, sandalwood, that will help you drift off to sleep. But if you want something to help wake you up, you'll want to be looking at peppermint or rosemary or lemon. Your ears. There is an app you can use. It's called Brain FM, and it uses binaural beats. Your brain operates on wavelengths. It goes through, we're probably in a beta wavelength at the moment. When you're in your peak, most focused state, you're in alpha, and delta is where you're in your deepest kind of sleep. By listening to binaural beats, you have to do this with earphones. You have one in each ear, and it will play a track, some music for you. And it sends one frequency through one of the earphones, one frequency through the other one. The two frequencies, when they meet in the middle, it basically brings your brain wavelength in between the missing link. So let's say one's at 10 hertz, the other one's at 12 hertz, it will bring your brain wave around the 11 mark, therefore bringing you down into delta. Binaural beats is all about leading your brain wave from the awake state and taking you straight into that deep sleep to boost it up once again. It's all about improving your deep sleep. That's where we really want to build up our focus. Probably one of the most therapeutic things to do is to journal. If you are struggling to sleep at nighttime, or you're finding that you are waking up quite a lot, journaling is one of the best ways forward. And you might be thinking, oh, well, what the hell do I journal about? What do I write about? I just get mind block. Well, just start simply. You don't even need to go with the intention of writing anything. Sometimes all I do is I start off, I get my pen, get my notebook, and I just write out, well, this is bloody stupid. And then I just keep writing. Just don't put any thought into it. Even if you keep writing the word, just word. And then what you'll realize is as you're going through the process of just writing, things will just start coming out. I can't explain it. It's really weird. It's like a subconscious kind of state. And you'll start writing about things that you didn't even know you were thinking about. And especially if there's a lot of stress going on in your life at the moment, or you've got a lot of changes happening around you at the moment, you'll be surprised that, oh wow, this is actually coming up. And just by putting it from your mind onto paper, you're sort of downloading it, giving yourself some space just to have a bit of a mental breath, as it were. So that's actually an exercise I would recommend, regardless if it's sleep related or not. It's something I do every day, and I found that it's been amazing for me personally. Finally, if all else fails, lay down, close your eyes, and focus on your deep breaths. So usually most of us these days are breathing from our chest. When you breathe from your chest, you increase your stress levels, you increase the tension going through your body. So when you take your time to breathe through your stomach, so imagine you're laying down, your eyes are closed, and you breathe in, and imagine you're filling your body up with breath from the very bottom of your stomach. So, and every time you breathe in, as you take that big deep breath in, you can feel the air rising, causing your stomach to expand, really stretching out your rib cage, filling up the top of your chest. You breathe in as much as you can, hold it at the top for about 1 or 2 seconds, and then just let all of that tension flow out of you in one big breath. Repeat that 5, 6, 7 times, whatever you feel like you need to do. And each time you breathe out, I want you to imagine that your body is sinking deeper and deeper into the mattress. That's pretty much my biggest fix, really. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch up with you guys. Bye.